Hey guys, and welcome back. I'm Samcrac, and this is my salvage Audi RS7. Now, if you're new to the channel, you might be asking yourself why a car that looks this good was deemed a salvage car. And well, that's because, well, it was in a lot worse condition than it sits now. I received this car from an insurance auction, and it was rear-ended, totaling it out completely. If you want to learn more about the car, see the condition I got in, or even know how much I paid for it, check the link in the description box below, and it will take you to the playlist of all the previous videos I've done. But for all you regular viewers, today I wanted to give you a little bit of an insight to the history of this car because it's pretty amazing. Some of the modifications that this car had, about 5 figures worth of modifications, were in this car that were completely hidden from me when I bid on it. I had absolutely no clue. And besides the modifications, how I actually came to meet the previous owner of this car totally coincidentally and get some more of those modifications from him to put back where they belong on the original car that they came off of.
The story actually begins underneath the car, where one of the workers at the body shop I took the car to for its rear repairs came up to me and said, "Hey, you know that there's absolutely no exhaust underneath the car at all?" In which I was kind of shocked. This is a long car, and even though it was rear-ended, I didn't figure that the entire exhaust would be completely ripped out. I thought that maybe it would just be damaged. Now remember, the car wasn't running at this point.
Now in the trunk of the car when I received it from the auction were these are a set of factory mid pipes. These are the pipes that connect from the downpipe itself to the main exhaust.
Since I had these, I knew I just needed whatever connected to them, and of course the mufflers. If you tend to watch my channel, you know I buy a lot of my parts online. I don't mind buying a used OEM part, is that if I had to ship it across the country, it would pretty much kill any price deal that I got on them. So in my search online, I found out that these parts were fairly expensive. At the dealership, I was looking at a minimum of $1,500 just for the pieces that I needed. If the dealership didn't offer me any discount, I could easily be pushing $2,000. When it comes to spending $2,000 on an OEM exhaust, for me, it just doesn't make much sense. There's a lot of aftermarket choices for this car, but they seem to range anywhere from like $3,000 to $10,000. So I knew I had to find a used OEM factory exhaust somebody took off their car and replaced with an aftermarket exhaust. So one of the best places for anyone to find a used takeoff part that's large, like a set of wheels or like an exhaust, is a car-specific form. In this case, there's a form called the Audi Zine form that seems pretty popular among Audi owners. So I start a WTB post. WTB stands for want to buy, and I say that I want to buy a stock exhaust off an RS7. I immediately had a handful of people writing me, and they were all over the country. Out of about a half a dozen different offers, the one that stood out the most was the person that seemed most willing to work with me and had the most competitive price. So I got their phone number and started texting them. And one of the first questions I asked them was, do you have any other parts besides an exhaust for an RS7? They did tell me they had a few other parts, and they then went ahead to tell me the story of their RS7 getting totaled, and that their RS7 was rear-ended by a driver that was texting. Now honestly, at this point, I haven't put 2 and 2 together yet. I'm a bonehead and I'm online Googling for a bunch of other different RS7 parts because I'm really excited about this rebuild. Finally, when I go to get the logistical part set up and I ask the guy, hey, where are you located so I know where to send the shipping carrier, he writes to me, Austin. And then I go, wait a minute, Austin? At one point in our conversation, he had actually sent a picture of this car that I just bought, the same car that he used to own. I was talking to the previous owner. So my follow-up text, once I figured out that I was talking to the previous owner, was, hey, would you do me a favor with the exhaust? Could you throw in the spare keys because I bought your car? The phone immediately rang and we had a really good conversation about the car. Now, the #1 question on the first video that I posted was, why wouldn't he have removed the HRE wheels from the car? That's the first mod we'll talk about in this video. These wheels are valued at over $10,000 new, would still sell at least for probably $5 grand used. And the simple reason is they were insured. They were part of the car. So if the car was totaled, the wheels had to go along with them. And fortunately, the The wheels aren't heavily damaged. Yes, they got some scratches and marks, primarily from the forklift driver. However, these things are still in really amazing condition and just add that much more flair to the car. What I want to do now is hop on the road. We got to go and pick up some of the parts that were delivered from the previous owner so that we can get ready to install them on the RS7. I'll also show you the stock exhaust he sent me, although we won't be using it. And I'll tell you why whenever we get there. Behind me is the exhaust. We're going to get to that in a minute. But right here is really what will allow the car to make a good amount more power over stock, and that is the Stage 2 catted downpipes. Now, I don't like to do catless downpipes. Here's one of them. You see these race cats are a lot smaller than the factory cats. When it comes to aftermarket downpipes, I've done the catless thing one time before, and it just smells too much, especially on a nice car like an RS7. You don't want to be driving up and people are like, why does that car smell like an old diesel truck? It was pure luck that I was able to get this exact set of APR downpipes that were on my car originally. Now, the previous owner pulled these off before the insurance company carted it away, and I don't blame him. These retail for $2,000 new. And I personally would have ended up buying these anyway because the car's already flashed to Stage 2, which is a few $1,000s just for that software flash. I could have gone to Audi and had them flash it back to factory, which would have cost me whatever sort of time that they would have charged me for, and then it would have actually brought the power level down on the car. But since the previous owner still had them lying around from this car, and lucky enough, he had just taken this factory exhaust off of his replacement RS7. And on top of all of that, I got the set of spare keys with it too. So right around 1,500 bucks delivered to me. I got a set of APR downpipes. I got a factory exhaust and the spare keys, which is just incredible. Totally coincidental, but I want to say a huge thanks to Chris, the previous owner. You really helped me out with this build. Some of you guys might be thinking I just bought my original exhaust back, but it would be impossible because whichever side would have been damaged, it would have been this side right here. The car was rear-ended so hard, these had to have been destroyed in the accident. You can see that these are perfect. The electronic valve is right here. This is actually a really nice factory piece. My only problem, and it's a good problem, is that Army Tricks reached out and they want to sponsor the build by providing one of their valved exhausts, and their exhausts are absolutely amazing. So if anyone out there needs, for whatever reason, a factory RS7 exhaust, be sure to give me a holler. No, I don't want to give it to you so you can just scrap it and get 89 cents for it. This is meant to go back on an Audi because this part is fairly expensive from the dealership, and I'd like to see someone use it. Besides this exhaust, I mean, look at all the darn car parts in here. We need to have like a Samcrac garage sale. Got a Michelin Pilot off of an E92 M3 I used to own. Forgot that I even still had this. This is one of the bent Corvette wheels. This is not the interesting thing I'd love to get rid of. These, if you guys have been long-time followers of the channel, these might look familiar to you. These are Dub 20-inch custom. I think they're like 2 or 3 piece wheels. These things were ridiculously expensive when they were new. I think they're absolutely hideous, and they came on an S-Class Mercedes that I bought and used to have, but it's sold with better looking wheels. In order to confirm this car has the APR software still installed, right now we've got the electronics on, engine off. Basically, this right here, this check engine code should flash when the program changes. Now, not only is this car flashed to Stage 2, it has a few different modes. In order to change those modes, we're going to hold down here the cruise control stalk, the set button, and then it should flash our check engine light right now. So, all right, I am holding the button right now. And you see it flashing? That APR tune is still intact. I got to make sure that I reset it and just leave it in the Stage 2 mode, because according to the previous owner, this car not only has just the regular Stage 2 with regular pump gas, they also have a race gas mode, and that's where we can get some really big power numbers out of this car. recent video when I mentioned over 800 horsepower, yes, I was using the cheating numbers. I wasn't talking about wheel horsepower, but this car makes well in excess of 700 wheel horsepower, putting it way over the 800 crank horsepower mark. This thing should be an absolute monster once it's finished. Now, our last modification has to actually do with this right here, the stance of the car. When we first got the hatch lifted up at the body shop, I had noticed this module plugged in the rear of the car where all the fuse and electrical stuff is. Now, when I saw the name H&R, I pulled this thing out and put it to the side just so it didn't float away while it was at the shop. However, I did a little bit of research on this, and this is a lowering module. Now, the reason the car is sitting so low, if you haven't seen my previous video, is because there's airbags missing out of the rear suspension. I took those out because one of them was damaged and I'm replacing both rear bags. With the suspension functioning properly and this module installed, it will actually drop about an inch from the rear and the front, giving the RS7 a really, really nice stance. Now, I didn't know anything really about this module, and then I did a little bit of research, and I was flabbergasted when I saw it cost in excess of $1,700. When searching for this module, the first site to pop up on Google was a place called Tag Motorsports. Now, I'm familiar with Tag Motorsports from seeing their cars tested on Matt Farah's channel, The Smoking Tire. I remembered after seeing the name Tag Motorsports that they had a really amazing looking RS7, so I did another Google search for Tag Motorsports RS7. The first few images are a beautiful Nardo gray car, but when you scroll down, there's a car that looks really, really familiar here. Now, this is one of the things I can't confirm in this video, but are these examples of this car with these smoked out taillights, with the same exact HRE wheels, the same exact Daytona gray pearl? Is this indeed the car that I bought? One thing that makes me believe the answer is probably not is the fact that the Tag Motorsports RS7 that looks just like mine has the Quattro badge in the front grille, which was a no-cost option from Audi when speccing this car, and mine does not have that grille unless one of the owners switched it out. So if you've been following along closely, you know that the HRE wheels that came on the car cost in excess of $10,000 new. You know that that H&R lowering module, well, that cost over $1,700. And as far as the APR flash tune, that I'm not sure what the final cost was, but I know that the base stage 1 tune file for this car is $3,000. Remember, this car has been upgraded to stage 2 with additional race file tunes, so it had to cost the original owner more than that. So this car came with over $15,000 of aftermarket modifications. I had absolutely no clue were on the car when I bid on it. Now, some of you guys might say, well, didn't you see those HRE wheels? They're sitting there in plain sight. But the auction photos are so low resolution. Well, I had an inkling that they were HRE wheels, and I actually posted this on my Instagram, asking the audience if they could figure out whether these were indeed HRE wheels or not. Most of them replied, we need a little bit more resolution to tell you. The pictures were that bad. Not to mention, these HRE wheels are knocked off by a lot of other wheel manufacturers. So it really wasn't a sure thing until the car showed up. Some of the most awesome photos of this car exist from the original owner's for sale ad on the Audi Zine forum. The original owner is responsible for installing pretty much all of these aftermarket modifications to my RS7, and he kept it absolutely immaculate. Following up with the second owner, or the previous owner, he told me that this car, even though when he bought it had around 30,000 miles on it, was in absolutely mint condition. He's never seen a used car taken so well care of. And in this post, the original owner goes through a complete list of all the modifications and gives pretty much every single detail into his ownership with the car. He starts off by saying that the MSRP was $138,000 and he spent about another $30,000 in modifications. This car came with a lot of the really high-end options, including the carbon optics package, which is all the carbon fiber work you see in the front and the rear bumper. Well, my rear bumper was destroyed, so I don't have any of the rear bumper stuff, and the upgraded sports style seats. Now, if we look under modifications, there's a few of these that are no longer in the car, like this Digital Designs 10-inch subwoofer and amplifier, but the car obviously still does have full window tint, and the job is excellent. And the Expel protective film, I removed the film from the bumper because it was slightly damaged, but it kept the paint underneath the bumper absolutely perfect. And the film on the hood was removed because the hood had to be repaired due to the accident. My car is indeed still pre-wired for a Valentine 1 radar detector. You can see the cord hanging from the headliner. It's obviously got those HREs. It has that H&R lowering module like we talked about, but two other suspension components that were on this car, as far as I know they are off now, are these Euro Code adjustable sway bars and end links. Down here it shows us the APR Stage 2 software and full Militech turbo back exhaust with catless downpipes. Well, the car came with the factory downpipes on it, and that Militech exhaust, I'm pretty sure, was destroyed in the accident. Here the original owner tells us that the car was good for 775 horsepower and 800 foot-pounds of torque, doing 0 to 60 launches in only 3 seconds, and he was asking $79,995 when he sold it. I think that was a perfectly fair price for this amazing example RS7.
So even though this RS7 is the most amount of money I've ever spent on a car at Salvage auction, is by far the best deal I have ever got, period. And I hope you guys enjoyed this brief history on this specific car. If you did, be sure to hit that like button. Also, if you're not already following me on Instagram, I'm posting a lot of pictures of the build progress of the RS7 there before they show up here on YouTube. So be sure to go over there, check out, and drop a follow. I can't thank you guys enough for your continued support of the channel. Without you guys watching, well, builds like this just wouldn't be possible. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Appreciate you guys watching, and I will catch you very soon.